Welcome to Grounded Toward Growth, conversations about growing your business, organization, and self.
Hey Rick, how are ya?
Hey, Gracie, how you doing?
I'm well, thanks.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Uh,
So, Rick, now that we have 30 members between your two CE groups, I was wondering if you could share what aspects of Vistage they value the most.
oh, that's a great question, Gracie. I think it's an important question because it speaks to where we spend time as a Vistage group. And and it's not just anecdotal in terms of my experience. It's also data driven. So Vistage does a really good job surveying its members, frequently in partnership with a third party like Dun and Bradstreet or Wall Street Journal. And there's data, and the data is remarkably consistent with my experience with my members. So I'd like to share those with you. And we have an acronym. It's MAGIC. So let me go through the 5 areas. One is making better decisions. The second is accountability. The third is growth. The fourth is isolation relief. And the fifth is change management. So let me speak to those. The first area where our members find the greatest value, making better decisions, that's primarily around gaining the perspective of 10 or 12 other fellow CEOs, especially CEOs who are from different industries. Some are even nonprofit, and while others are for profit. So, gaining the perspective of other CEOs about your issue or opportunity that you're wrestling with. So, it's broadening, and they're able to see things that may be a bit too close to you and your business. The second part of making better decisions is really core to what we do. A common statement is, how do I spend less time working in the business so that I can spend more time working on the business? So the kinds of decisions our chief executive groups are wrestling with are really those strategic decisions about working on the business. Now, obviously, you're going to have to get down into the nuts and bolts at times and get into the details, especially if there are real issues. That's where the growth opportunity really resides. And it's a matter of hiring people around you who can be dealing with and managing the more day-to-day in the business kinds of decision. The second, accountability. Accountability is key, not only in terms of how do I, as a CEO, hold my people accountable, and and have others hold each other accountable. But if you're the CEO, frequently, especially if you're you own the company, there's no one else to hold you accountable other than when you look in the mirror that morning. And so, what we find is our chief executive groups oftentimes are holding each other accountable. When someone does an issue processing during a meeting and they present an issue or opportunity they're wrestling with, and we dig into that and we ask questions and we explore and provide ideas for how the individual may handle that issue or opportunity. We capture 2 or 3 action steps from the CEO that we will ask them to report out on at the meeting in 1 month, at the next meeting. And so that many of our members find having that accountability is really key. It's kind of like when you go to the gym and maybe you have a personal trainer, you're probably going to push a little harder because you know there's going to be an expectation there that you need to speak to. The third item in our MAGIC acronym is growth. And this is really core to the people that I have invited into the chief executive groups. All of the people I have are interested in growing their businesses, and it starts with growing the business. How do I scale the product or service that I provide or we provide? So as the business grows and we explore ways to scale more rapidly, the first thing that happens is they realize, oh, now my organization needs to grow. I need to have the right people with the right skill set, the right organization capabilities and individual competencies to be able to meet that new growth. And that's particularly important for the CEO as they're spending more and more time working with the on the business issues and less with the in the business issues. Now you need to have a really talented group of people that report directly to you and and manage the day to day. And then the third area of growth that we speak about as the business grows, as your organization grows, and the role of the CEO changes dramatically, um, then that involves personal growth. So as you make this shift to being more strategic, working more on the business, building relationships with key customers, looking for where's the industry going, exploring new opportunities and business lines, looking at whether my business model needs to change or not, speaking to investors. As all of that happens, the role of the CEO evolves and changes, and that involves personal growth. The fourth item in our MAGIC acronym, we call it isolation relief. What many of our folks find is that it's lonely at the top. There are issues and topics that you're wrestling with that might even keep you up at night. Who do you talk to them about? Well, you may discuss some of them with your board if you have one, or investors. You may discuss some of them with with your your executive team, your direct reports. You may discuss some with friends, but oftentimes there's no one to discuss those things with because it has something to do with difficult board members or difficult investors or looking at other investors or direct reports who were great at getting you to where you are, but really are not the right folks to get you to the next level. So who do you talk to? Vistage, our chief executive groups, are the place where our members come to really have those kind of very confidential conversations. And that's why everyone's in a non disclosure agreement when they've joined Vistage. The other part of isolation relief is what we call the imposter syndrome, that I've never been a CEO, or I'm stepping into the CEO role, or even if you're an experienced CEO role. You need to be coming across as a CEO. You need to be setting that vision, holding people accountable. And that has to do with your investors and your board, with your employees, with your customers. And sometimes we don't feel like we really know what we're doing, or we're not up to it. Where do I let my hair down? Where can you say, I think this is what's going on, but gosh, I don't know what to do about it. Again, that's what the chief executive group is about. It's a place where you can have those kind of conversations. So isolation relief is the fourth element of our acronym. The final change is change management, and change occurs at all levels. So, the first level is at the ecosystem or market level. What's happening in your industry? What's happening in the world that's impacting your industry? What does that mean for you and your business? Then it's looking at your business as you grow, making those organization changes, making those personal changes as a CEO, as your role shifts and changes. That's all change management. So we look at change management from the external to the internal, from the market to you as an individual, and knowing how to bring other people on board, set a vision, hold people accountable to that change. So those are the 5 elements, Gracie, of what Vistage calls MAGIC. It's based on data with our 45,000 members worldwide. And I have to say, I've really found that they are critical elements of my one-to-one conversations with my members, as well as in our group conversations. So great question, Gracie. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
So, if it is magic in your Vistage groups, does that make you the magician?
I only wish. No, I can't. But you know what? I'm not the magician. But collectively, that's where the magic happens. So it's not about me. My job is to just create the space and help facilitate it. But the magic is really as the collective, particularly as we really get to know each other as individuals and as businesses. You get to know the kind of business someone is in, and you get to know the kinds of issues they're wrestling with. We're able to really support and help and challenge each other to become more effective leaders.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Rick.
You're welcome. Thanks, Gracie.